This is my fourth year of covering the NFL draft here on YouTube, and I want to do things a little bit differently. The previous 2 years, I tried to do one video for every single team, handing out grades for every single pick with in-depth analysis, and it hasn't gone the way I wanted it to. The year before last, it took way too long to get done, and last year, because of circumstances that were out of my control, I didn't even get to get done. So instead of doing all that, instead of talking about potentially negative things with the NFL draft, I decided this year I want to go full positivity and just talk about my favorite pick from each NFL team. Now, we're not going to be talking about first rounders in this video because that's way too easy. I could just talk about every first round pick for pretty much every team. There's a couple teams where that would be an exception. But I instead want to talk about the day 2, day 3 guys, really get into the weeds of some of the non-household names that got picked this year, and talk about guys that I'm a really big fan of, guys that I want to see succeed in the league, guys that I think can succeed in the league. And so I figured this was the best way to do that. We're going to go division by division for all 32 teams, 8 videos over the course of the next week or so, talking about, my favorite pick for each team. So without further ado, let's go ahead and wrap up this series by talking about my favorite pick from every team in the AFC West. We're going to kick off our final division here with the AFC West with the Los Angeles Chargers, and for them, this one was pretty easy for me. Had to go with Brennan Thompson, the wide receiver out of Mississippi State, and this is for 3 primary reasons. Number 1, I love Thompson as a prospect. Number 2, I adore his fit with Justin Herbert. And number 3, he is the perfect wide receiver for new offensive coordinator Mike McDaniel. So let's run through these 3 points, right? Number 1, I loved Brennan Thompson. He was so fun to watch. I've mentioned before that I have my list of my guys. This year at wide receiver, I watched 30 players and I had 3 my guys. Brennan Thompson was one of them. And he is just somebody who blows you away with his speed. He ran a 4.26. That is clear as day on tape. This guy just moves differently than everybody else. But he's not just speed, right? Normally you see an undersized guy who is super, super fast and you think, okay, he probably made a career off of pop passes and drags and very simple offensive infrastructure, right? Brennan Thompson is not that type of player. He is a legitimate route runner who can win with head fakes and deception and can beat press with really good footwork and just finds ways to get himself open and maximize his speed. Now, he is a very small receiver at 5'9", 164 pounds, so he is going to be limited, but getting him here in the 4th round, it's not like you're drafting him to be your number 1. You're drafting him to probably, in an ideal world, be your number 3. You have Ladd McConkey as your true number 1. You have a couple other receivers here with Quentin Johnston, who has had his moments. Trey Harris, I liked coming out last year. Keandre Lambert-Smith was someone I liked on day 3 last year for them. You have a good receiver room outside of Thompson already, so you're not bringing him in with the thought process of he needs to step in day 1 and be a key contributor. You just need him to play a specific role for you and potentially grow into a key contributor. We are talking about a receiver who is only 22 years old and really has a lot of enticing traits. Again, that speed, his ability to take the top off the defense. He has a better than expected catch radius. It's obviously not good, but he can grab the ball away from his frame and extend out of his frame a tiny bit to haul in passes. He can drop his hips on a dime and make really sharp cuts as a route runner. He consistently creates separation. He manipulates leverage as a route runner to consistently get in defensive backs' blind spots. He weaponizes his speed to keep defenders on their toes as a route runner with tempo, double moves, stutters. His ball tracking ability is fantastic. His release package, specifically his stutter step, is really, really nice and grew a lot in 2025. He can outrun guys or make them miss after the catch. He was dynamic on design touches. And he is just somebody who, with his speed, he knows how fast he is, and he is going to weaponize that at every turn, which is a huge benefit for this offense. And not only that, one thing that I really liked about Thompson, and I don't know how well this is going to translate to the league because of his size, but he really tried as a run blocker. He was willing to get into a corner's chest. He was really scrappy and just tried his ass off. Obviously, the results varied because of his frame, and I'm sure it'll be even more so at the next level, but I'm sure Mike McDaniel's looking at that and saying, not only is this guy little and fast and can do a lot of the stuff I want, but he is a tremendous, effort blocker, right? We'll see, again, how that pans out. Obviously, in an ideal world, you probably don't want a receiver that is 164 pounds being a run blocker for you, but if push comes to shove, he will try, and that is a huge, huge benefit. Now, I already mentioned, Mike McDaniel, his fit with him. I don't want to compare him to Jalen Waddle or Tyreek Hill because I do not think he is the same player as those guys. I don't know that he will ever be as good as those guys, but you do see elements of what they were doing with Mike McDaniel in his game, just being these field stretchers, both vertically and horizontally, that weaponize their speed and can create a lot of separation to give the quarterback easy targets. that is something I think Brennan Thompson can absolutely do for this offense. And I think especially downfield, this will be a massive benefit to Justin Herbert. You look at this receiver room, the one thing they didn't have was a true field stretcher, right? At least on paper. I know the guys outside of Ladd McConkey aren't exactly the most consistent bunch, but theoretically, the one thing they're missing is a true field stretcher, and now you get that in Brennan Thompson with his 4.26 speed. So if he can be the player I think he is, and, some of these other pieces can step up and do what they're supposed to do, obviously looking at Quentin Johnston primarily, then this can be a really good receiver room for Justin Herbert. I think right away, Brennan Thompson will probably be your third or fourth receiver. It looks like on our lads, he's listed as their number 4, but, he's going to step in right away, and I think is easily, at worst, the 4th most talented receiver on this roster, maybe the 3rd, depending on how you feel about Trey Harris. I liked him a lot coming out last year. I know he didn't show a whole lot his rookie year, but I still have faith. So yeah, overall, this is a match made in heaven, in my opinion, and I am really, really excited to see what Thompson is going to do in this offense with Justin Herbert and Mike McDaniel. Moving now to the Denver Broncos, we're going to be talking about Mr. Irrelevant himself, Red Murdoch, the linebacker out of Buffalo. And this was not somebody I watched pre-draft. I've said a couple times in these videos that I just didn't get to watch as many prospects as I wanted to this year due to a bunch of different things going on. I got to about 170 as opposed to the 220 plus that I normally shoot for. But regardless, I went back, watched everyone that got drafted, at least a little bit of everyone to get an idea of what kind of player they are. And Red Murdoch is somebody that I just instantly fell in love with. His intensity, his physicality, his overall demeanor are all traits that I absolutely adore. Now, I understand he is not going to be everyone's cup of tea, and we are talking about Mr. Irrelevant for the 2026 NFL Draft. But I do think there is a world where he can come in and contribute for the Denver Broncos. First and foremost, because of his physicality and his tackling ability, and more importantly, his ability to force turnovers. We're talking about someone who has the NCAA record for career forced fumbles, breaking fellow Buffalo alumni Khalil Mack's record. If nothing else, this is a tremendous special teams piece for you. Having a guy like this on special teams that is this good at forcing fumbles, forcing turnovers, can be a true game changer for you, because if you force a fumble on a kickoff, you're getting the ball in enemy territory with momentum, potentially swinging the game in your favor at whatever point you need. That is huge. That can be very, very big. So if nothing else, I think Red Murdoch will make this team off of special teams value. But I do think there is a world where he can end up ascending into more of a starting caliber linebacker. Now, I don't know that he's ever going to be an all-around, perfect off-ball linebacker. I do think his lack of speed and lack of change of direction ability, the stiffness that he plays with, is going to hinder him in coverage. But he does see things pretty well. He can reroute guys within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage due to his physical nature. He can blitz downhill. He can, get behind his pads and push the pocket and blow up running backs when rushing the passer. I do think he has enough to warrant him being able to see the field on obvious passing downs, but more specifically, the biggest thing here is going to be the run defense. He's always around the football. He's super physical. He is somebody that you can tell it hurts to get hit by this guy. Guys get up slow. They feel sluggish as the game goes on, taking hit after hit after hit from Murdoch. He rarely overruns plays, has really good angles to the football. Just tremendous effort, plays with his hair on fire. Genuinely, I think he can be a linebacker that just plays with his hair on fire against the run, and you can send downhill as a pass rusher, kind of like a true strong side linebacker. And I know Denver runs a 3-4. They're not going to come out in many 3 linebacker sets, if any, at any point. But, goal line option, that could be big for them. And on top of that, if you can get a coverage linebacker next to him, obviously you have Alex Singleton right now who just signed an extension, but he's on the older side, and he is also a run defense first linebacker, at least at this point in his career. But if you could turn things around and get a coverage oriented linebacker, like someone who is more fluid, faster, can play sideline to sideline, I think that kind of guy in Murdoch could be a very, very good tandem for you. So yeah, overall, this is a pick I really, really like for Denver. I expect Murdoch to make the roster. I think he's a damn near lock if Denver values what he can bring as a special teamer. We're talking about a guy that could potentially be a Pro Bowl, all-pro caliber guy in those situations because of the amount of forced fumbles and his ability to force turnovers for this team. But also, I do see a world where he could turn into a, if nothing else, niche role on defense. Again, goal line packages, anytime you want to bring that third linebacker out there, maybe even try him off the edge here and there because he can win with his bull rush. Just somebody to get out there, potentially give you a spark plug, potentially get a turnover. I think he has talent. I think he is a good football player. He has his weaknesses. He has his issues. He probably won't ever be a star, but this is a player that I think can make this roster and make a difference, and getting that with the final pick in the draft is pretty damn good. Moving now to the Kansas City Chiefs, the second to last team we're going to be talking about in this series. I had to go with Emmett Johnson, the running back out of Nebraska. And not only is this tremendous value, I thought Johnson was the second best running back in the class, had a top 50 grade on him. You get him here towards the end of the 5th round, but I love the fit here as well. Now, starting off with Johnson relative to his peers, I did have him as my RB2 ahead of Jadarian Price, who I know everyone was in love with. I liked Price a lot too. I had very similar grades on Johnson and Price, but the fact that Price goes at the end of the first round and Johnson goes all the way here in the 5th blows my mind. Even if you want to say Price is better than Johnson, I'm not going to argue you on that because, like I said, I do think they're close. But to say that there is 4 rounds of difference in their skill set, in their talent, is insane to me. I think the league really messed up with this one, letting him fall to the 5th round. And letting him go to the Chiefs specifically, I know the Chiefs aren't exactly this juggernaut that they once were, but I do think this is a very good fit for their run game. You bring in Kenneth Walker this offseason, you pay him to be one of the higher paid backs in the league. He's a tremendous football player with Super Bowl MVP. Like, he's a very, very good running back, still clearly going to be your starter. However, he has been banged up in the past. He has had some issues with staying on the field. And because of that, having a guy like Johnson who can take some of that pressure off of him during the regular season is a huge win. And on top of that, Johnson, I think, can do a lot of the things that Walker does, which allows you to keep your run game the same when Johnson comes in. You know, if he takes 2 or 3 drives a game from Kenneth Walker just to let Walker get a breather, rest up, make sure he's ready to go again next week, you know, I don't think the fall off in terms of what you're able to do with your run game is going to change. Now, obviously, Walker is more talented, so he'll be more likely to break off the big runs and make guys miss and do all the crazy things, but Johnson can still get you the 4 to 5 yards of play you need, and that is a win in this league, right? And not only that, but he's going to a Chiefs team that just brought back Eric Bieniemy, who had a very good stint as Chicago's running back coach, where he got the best out of DeAndre Swift and really was an instrumental piece in the development of 7th-round rookie Kyle Monangai last year. Monangai was great down the stretch, and a big reason for that was Bieniemy's coaching. So you get Johnson here, who I thought coming out was a better prospect than Monangai, and he gets to go work with Bieniemy. I think Bieniemy's going to work wonders with this guy. So that is a huge, huge win. I love the fit. I love the player. Like, this is a guy who is a good, maybe not elite athlete, who can round corners and maneuver without decelerating. He has really good burst. He can plant his foot and get upfield quickly. He has a low center of gravity, great leg drive, good contact balance, fantastic vision. He has a really good understanding of how long it takes blocks to develop and how to manipulate that time and those blocks in his favor. He can manipulate defenders with his eyes as well. He has really subtle, effective footwork to make guys miss in tight quarters. He has really good stop-start ability. He can consistently make guys miss in the open field. He has great ball security, and he brings you a lot as a receiver as well. He's a former wide receiver, so you see that in his route running, in the fact that he has, like, soft, natural hands. He can pluck the ball away from his frame. He was super productive last year. He broke 1,400 yards on nearly 6 yards a carry. Like, he is a good running back. Really, the only things I can say is he's not the fastest guy in the world, he's not the most powerful guy in the world, and his pass blocking is hit or miss. Pass blocking can be taught. That is something that can be fixed with technique. I feel Bieniemy could play a role in that, again, with his background as a running back, being a good running back coach. And then the power and the speed, he's your RB2, right? You're not drafting him to be some superstar. He is firmly your RB2, and I think he fits that profile very, very well. And, you know, God forbid, knock on wood, Kenneth Walker goes down at some point because, again, injuries have been an issue. I think you can plug Johnson in and not see too steep of a decline in your run game. Again, I want to make it clear, there is a talent gap between the two guys. There's a reason why Johnson will be at best RB2, but I do think his fit with the Chiefs, with Kenneth Walker, with Eric Bieniemy is very, very good. I thought the value was great, and this is a pick I was a very big fan of. And finally, the last team we're going to be talking about in this series is the Las Vegas Raiders, and this was by design. They say you should save the best for last, and that is exactly what I feel I have done here, with the Raiders selecting Jermod McCoy, the corner out of Tennessee, with the first pick of day 3, the first pick of the 4th round. And the reason I say this is the best is because of the player McCoy was before injury, right? He ended up falling in the draft because of his ACL tear and then the potential that he would need a second surgery on his knee. It would seem that that's not going to be the case. The Raiders are already talking about him like he's going to be playing in 2026. So with that said, if McCoy is the same player he was prior to his injury, then this is easily the best pick of the draft. Like, easily, bar none, nothing compares, this would be the best pick of the draft. Because when he was healthy, McCoy had the tape of a top 3 player in this class. Like, point blank period. He would have been my number 1 corner. He is just such an incredible player. He's only 20 years old. He has the size. He has the athleticism. He ran a 4.38 at his pro day, man. Like, McCoy is such an incredible corner that could potentially blossom into one of the league's, like, premier shutdown players. I firmly believe that. And then the fact that the Raiders got him on day 3, the start of the 4th round, they got this guy who easily should have been a day 2 pick even with the injury concerns. It blows my mind. It absolutely blows my mind. And I am rooting like hell for this dude because of some of the crazy things that were said about him when he started to slip in the draft. People, like, making fun of how messed up his knee must have been and things of that nature. And I'm not just saying, like, random trolls on Twitter. I'm talking about people with platforms making these kinds of comments during the draft. It blew my mind. And because of that, I am so, like, in on Jermod McCoy. I am on the bandwagon. I am buying as much stock as I can because I really do think McCoy can be one of the league's premier corners. Now, obviously, this all comes with that asterisk. If he is not the same player he was before he got hurt, he probably will still be better than most fourth-round picks, but it kind of lessens the, grandiose claims that I'm making here, right? So taking a look at McCoy as a player, he's 20 years old, 6'1", 188 pounds, 31.25-inch arms. Those are good measurables for an NFL boundary corner. Ran a 4.38 at his pro day, which is significant because that is a little over a year removed from that ACL tear that had everyone in a frenzy about him as a prospect. He has really good recovery speed. He's got those oily, fluid hips that allow him to change directions and flip his hips with ease. He's super smart with really, really good eyes in both man and zone coverage. He attacks the ball well. He had notable production on the ball at Tennessee. In man coverage, he has the tools to stick to anybody. He can click and close an off man as well. His footwork in man coverage is very, very good. His feet are quick. They're confident. And then in zone coverage, he does a great job of guarding players, not grass, with, again, really, really good vision, really, really good eyes. He reads and reacts in an instant at the drop of a hat when in zone coverage. And then against the run, he sees it well. He isn't afraid to get dirty. He's very willing as a tackler. He's able to break down blocks a lot better than you would expect from an under 200-pound corner. And then as a blitzer even, there were moments where he showed he was capable of getting downhill quickly and getting after the quarterback. The only real weaknesses to his game, again, outside of the injury, is the fact that he is a little slender. He has a good, not great frame in terms of the weight, I would say. But again, at 6'1" with 31.25-inch arms, the rest of his frame is pretty damn solid. And he can also get a little grabby downfield, but that is something that I imagine will be coached out of him as something that can improve with age. Again, we're talking about a 20-year-old player who only played 2 years of college football. He missed his entire junior year because of that injury and then forewent the rest of his eligibility to just straight up declare for the draft. And I understand there will be some that are lower on him due to the injury and the fact that he didn't have a ton of college tape as a result of that injury, so I can understand that. But at the end of the day, for those of us who watched McCoy, for those of us who saw what he was capable of and have faith that he can recover from this injury, this is an incredible football player for the Raiders to get in the 4th round. This team is already talking about him being in the mix for the starting spot opposite Eric Stokes with Darian Porter and Hezekiah Masses. If he comes out and is a day 1 starter for the Raiders, that would be an insane turnaround, especially because right before the draft, we were told he might need that second surgery. It would seem the Raiders don't feel that way. They're ready to put him out there. They're going to ease him in during camp. I am so intrigued by what his rookie season is going to look like. I firmly believe he has the talent to be the best corner on the Raiders right away, but we will have to see how it plays out. We'll have to see how quickly they get him onto the field. But either way, I am super, super excited for Jermod McCoy, and I'm rooting like hell for the guy. But anyways, folks, that is going to do it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, please make sure to leave a like down below, as it does help out the channel a ton. It shows your support, it shows you care, and I really do appreciate it. Also, make sure to let me know down in the comments below what your favorite pick was from each of the teams mentioned in this video. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Anything like that, I would love to hear your input down below. And definitely make sure to subscribe for more NFL content coming your way throughout the rest of the offseason. This series is probably going to be the last thing I do about the draft. I might do some assorted film breakdowns here and there. We'll have to see. But either way, there's going to be more football content throughout the summer, into the regular season and beyond, that you definitely won't want to miss. So make sure you hit that subscribe button to not miss out on any of it. And above all else, I hope you all have a wonderful day, evening, night, afternoon, whatever time of day it is for you. I hope you enjoy it, because you're all wonderful people and you truly do deserve it. And also, happy Pride Month.
Had a chance on the throwback. This was an ill-advised throw. What an unbelievable catch by Cole Kmet. And he cups it too. No movement when he hits the ground, tucked up against his shoulder. Wow. Using that